Hi everyone, I'm Tara Anastasia. I'm here today with a lovely student. Would you like to tell us your name and what you're studying?
Sure, my name's Anthony Vezu, and I'm studying psychology under the Bachelor of Psychology Honours course.
Oh, amazing. And what is your favorite fun thing to do outside of university out of curiosity?
Oh, outside of university, with lockdown, most of my life is university at the moment. But apart from, I know, no, don't be too disheartened. No, apart from university, yeah, I love to read, write short stories, watch movies, play video games, and where I can chat with friends or catch up with friends.
That's really great. It's very wholesome. What kind of stories do you like to write out of curiosity? Is there a genre you lean towards?
If I write short stories, I tend to write sort of like, as much as fantasy is a wonderful genre, and you can have a lot of fun there. I do find that I wind up writing about things that have happened to me or that I've seen or that could happen. So kind of like the realism style, I guess.
I love that. Well, if you ever release anything, please let me know so I can have a little read. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it's good to know that I've got somebody willing to read. Thanks for that.
Yes. And the third question, when did you first see leadership at Swinburne University from a teacher, a peer, or someone in a volunteer role, for example?
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose when I at university, before I actually started my degree, they offered this thing. I think it was called Steps for Success or Seminars for Success, something like that.
Oh,
And you could go in before your orientation week. And basically it was like a week long program where you come in for 5 days and they do little seminars on, this is how to organize yourself. This is how to organize your goals at uni. This is how you might want to do readings and things. And they gave you a bunch of tips on pretty much how to survive and orient yourself in uni. um yeah, and a lot of the teachers and staff who were there I saw real leadership in, because like they weren't necessarily teaching a course or anything. They were doing something extracurricular and taking the initiative to sort of pioneer something new to really help the students out. So I suppose that was the first time I saw leadership at Swinburne.
that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I wish I got that when I first came to Swinburne. There we go. No, that sounds really great. I'm glad they had that program for students to be very helpful
Yeah, it
for
was
the
really
transition.
helpful.
Yeah. And I'm curious, what positions have you taken at the university that's demonstrated leadership? Any volunteer roles, any paid roles?
Well, I've taken the study group leader role, which
Oh,
is part volunteer, part paid. Um, yeah, I didn't actually seek it out. I didn't even know it existed. But one of uh, my lecturers, or one of the unit conveners, recommended to one of the supervisors of the study group program that I could be a study group leader for first year psych students. And that was how I first heard about it. And then I thought, well, that sounds pretty cool. So yeah, I got interviewed for that, applied for that, and here we are. So this is probably the only leadership position per se that I've got at uni. But I mean, I quite enjoy it, and I'm grateful to have it.
that's so nice. Thank you for being part of that program. I can't wait to see what other leadership opportunities you take on. Maybe a club next year, potentially.
Who knows? Yeah, I suppose we'll see. Hey, time will tell.
Yes, definitely. Well, I'm curious now for the future, since we've gone through what you're currently doing at university, if you could do any job in the world, what would it be and why? Like, no
Ooh.
limitations, no degree, anything like that. You can just be step into that job. What?
Yeah, oh, that's a cool question. Um, since I was about 12 or 13, I've sort of had this idea that I wanted to be a psychologist. But when you're young, you go, oh, psychologist, and you think of like a clinical psychologist because that's the first thing you think of. Like when you see movies and you hear about psychologists, it's usually a clinician. Um, and that was sort of what I had in my head for a long time. But the more that I've studied psychology and the more I realized how many nuanced and niche positions there are in that field, the more I've sort of understood the specific space that I want to work in. Um, so the dream, I suppose, occupational scenario for me would be to work with adolescents or children, possibly in like an educational space or developmental space, to sort of gauge like learning disorders or um, social issues that are happening amongst young people, and supporting them to overcome those or to cope better with those, or to change infrastructure so that they can then, so that infrastructure, whether it's in the educational system or whatever, can better support them. um, yeah, working with young people really, I don't know, like when I think of, for a long time I thought I'd sort of clinically work with adults or something, but that always sort of now thinking on it sort of intimidates me because I'll probably finish my degree and I'm like 25 or 28 or whatever, and I'll go and there'll be like 40-year-olds coming in and they're not gonna, think that I have that much life experience. So I think, yeah, the dream career for me would be working with young people, and then if possible, being a writer on the side. But we'll see.
Well, I think you can do anything you put your mind to. So we'll
Thanks.
keep our
Yeah, I'm
eye
a
on
big believer in that myself. Thank you.
that. Perfect. Alrighty. And I'm curious, what tips do you have for women students starting out that want to pursue an honors level, such as yourself?
Oh, well, I would first say I'm not in on it yet, so any advice I give you is only so informed. Um, but especially if they're doing psychology honors at Swinburne, uh, I would say if you know that that's where you want to go early on, start asking about it really early, like even in first year. You don't need to know what you want to do or who you want to work with yet, but definitely like start talking to lecturers or professors about what it means to go to honors, and what kind of work you might be doing, or even looking for research assistant work with a professor. You can do that in first year, and then you build up a relationship over your bachelor's, and bang, you've got somebody to work with for honors. um, so I would definitely start looking for research assistant opportunities or asking around early just what it means to do honors. um, but aside from that, they don't really tell you a lot specifically how to apply for honors, which I've always found a bit daunting, and you have to sort of seek it out yourself. So I would keep in mind, know what course you're doing and if your course includes honors, because the one I'm doing, if I get a certain grade average, honors is included, so I don't have to separately apply. But then not every course is like that, and like most other psychology courses are, once you finish your bachelor's, you have to separately apply for honors. And so I would know where you sit first and then try and gauge what your path should be from there.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing that, Val. I already know you're going to be an honors next year. I can already see it happening. You have a very
Oh,
great work ethic from what I've heard. So, yeah,
your confidence in me really does mean a lot. Thank you.
thank you. And I'm really curious, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Will you be like living in Australia? Will you be overseas traveling?
Oh,
What's the goal?
5 to 10 years. That's a long while away. Let me think. So by the time I finish my honors, it'll be, I think in the next 5 years, or maybe 5 to 8-ish, I want to have my PhD and master's done. um, because I've talked to a few professors, and they've suggested, like that if you want to lecture and do clinical work and that, you should have both. So hopefully the next 5 to 10 years, I'll have my PhD and master's done, and then I'll have some sort of job in educational developmental psychology there. I don't know what kind, because so many, like I said, it's so niche, so many things can come up that I don't even know about. But outside of that, will I be living here? Probably, but I think at some point I would like to live in Italy for a little while, because I'm Italian background, and I have family there, and it's good vibes in Italy. The culture is very, relaxed and friendly and wholesome. So I'd like to spend some time there. Um, but yeah, apart from that, I don't know. It's, as much as I would like to say I'm going to have this done by 5 to 10 years, I think the longer term something is, the less strictly and definitively you can plan it, because so many new things can come up.
No, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. That sounds like a very exciting 5 to 10 year plan. Whereabouts in Italy would you want to travel, like the north part or south part?
Oh, well, that's the thing. Because I have family from all over. So
Oh,
I have family in the north, in the south, and in the middle. But yeah, I'd probably go to the middle, just because there's like a town there where I have a lot of family who lives in, and I think it's like quite isolated up in the mountains. So I think it'd be nice to just live there for a while, because you're very sort of present, because it's, there's like one community of people, and it's not all hustle bustle. So yeah, I'd like to live there for a little while.
yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. But this is the last question. It's the most important, guys. As the viewers know, this is the most important question that I have to ask you. What is your favorite type of coffee? Especially now that I know you're Italian.
Yeah, I know. Well,
No
I'm
pressure.
gonna, I'm gonna. That's the thing. Especially now that I'm Italian, I'm gonna disappoint you. I don't really drink coffee. Uh, I know, I know. Be still. Everyone's beating hearts. I've tried it. Last time I drank coffee was, I was out with a few friends once. When lockdown wasn't so heavy, and it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I wasn't thinking, because you're all partying around, and I hadn't seen one of my friends in a while. She got an espresso martini. I thought, wonderful. I've never tried one of those. I'll get one with her. Not thinking it's full of coffee. And then I got home. It was about like 2 in the morning. And I was like, I'm knackered, ready to go to bed. close my eyes, and then nothing. And I remember like looking at the clock, not having fallen asleep, and it was like 4 a.m.
Oh my
So
goodness.
coffee is just doesn't sit with me. So to everyone who enjoys it, wonderful. I'm happy for you. Doesn't sit with me. I'd rather a tea any day.
What kind of tea? Out of curiosity.
Well, a peppermint or a chamomile is really soothing, I find, right before bed. That'll pop you off, I think.
Definitely. That's really nice. You should try a roast. There's a really nice Japanese roast tea. I can't remember where I got it. I got it in Melbourne Central. If I get to
Mhm.
see everyone on campus, let me distribute my roast tea to you and you'll love it.
Please, I would love to try that.
It's the best. Well,
Awesome. I can't wait.
perfect. Well, thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on. Guys, can we give Anthony a round of applause for being an amazing
Oh, thank you. Thank
interviewee?
you.
Thank you. All right, take care. Bye, guys.
You take care. Bye bye.